got butt.
No, you got butt. See?
Yeah.
Well, I'll put boobs on the next one. How's that? Let me keep...
Do you promise? Do you promise?
All right. Let me see. Let
Last
me go
one has
ahead.
some nice Oh, we're all live. Never
Yeah,
mind.
there. Yeah, look, we're all
Hey,
live.
hi, Carl.
What are you talking about?
Carl's in the house. He says, hey, hi.
Hey, Carl. All right, let's go ahead and play. Let's be professional and actually play. Poor Rodney.
We're
It's first time
professional?
on it.
When
We're
did
not
we-
even being professional.
When
All
did
right,
we become professional?
right now. If idle hands are the devil's playground, what happens when we apply our imagination to them? For centuries, before radio, television, and YouTube, we told stories using our own voices and inanimate objects. Tonight, the panel will discuss the influences puppetry has had over our lives and how we can apply those inspirations to our own creations. All thanks to a little medium that was once coined, the hand masquerade. Right now on Dispatches from Outside the Box.
In the spaces, things exist. In the lines that form the network of your mind. Behind the retinas of imagination are the particles and peripherals that made you who you are. Turn off, shut your eyes, and listen. Dispatches from outside the box.
All right. And of course, welcome to the show that scours the corners of geekdom to inspire you to create outside the box. I'm C Michael Lanning, of course, here with another with our panel to talk about puppets tonight.
Puppets.
So, yeah. You know, those things that you put your hand up. Anyway, Randy, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Remember, everybody, we're TV MADLSV. So, anyway, let your mind wander. Hey, everybody, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I'm a longtime alternative and independent comics publisher, producer, done everything in this industry. I love it. I love everything about this industry, except for some of the crazy trolls. But other than that, I do the Zimcast on Wednesday nights, Sunday Funnies on Sunday morning here on the Indie, what is it? ICN, right?
Indie Comic Network. Yeah.
Indie what?
Indie Comics Network.
Indie Comics Network. It's the Indie Comics Network now. So come on in. We're ICN. Soon we're going to have our own news broadcast. It'll be great. ICN News.
We do. We have Indie Rush.
Indie Rush. Well, that's, it's not the same. Anyway. All right, everybody. Glad to be here. We're going to talk about puppets. Get handy and all that.
Mitch, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mitch Rogers, horror writer. I'm an artist creator of the Boger comic book series, 14-year veteran of the indie comics market, native-born South Carolinian, and that's basically it.
That's it, right? All right, and
Handsome man.
Ooh la la! And joining us for the first time, Rampage and Rodney Fike. Hello, sir. Why don't you introduce yourself to the Dispatches folks?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I am Rodney Fike. I am the co-creator of Hasm Productions, which includes titles such as Peanut Pudding and Jelly, Pitter Patter, Unchained, and Roadkill Rampage. I've been doing comics in the indie scene since the early 90s, off and on. Took about a 10-year break, came back in the early 2000, about 2010, and I'm back, and we're doing Hasm Productions, and I write, draw, ink, color, letter if somebody will let me. Do it all. So,
All right, awesome. And of course, we've got some people in the chat. Hello, Carl. How are you today? And Donna, hello.
Donna's in the house. Hey, guys. Hey, Donna.
Nita's in there, but she doesn't want to talk to
Nita's
us.
here. She just wants to talk to Carl.
So, trying to put together this whole montage of puppets. The amount of puppets that have, I don't know what, infected our society and our television and our lives are numerous. What puppets stand out to you when you think puppetry? Anybody could take that one.
for me, it's the Muppets.
The Muppets?
Yeah. From my perspective, my point of view, my influences, it was the Muppets. Just because they were on every week, and I was telling Randy backstage, I had an ex step grandmother who used to make Muppets, not for Henson, but she would make Muppets of people in her church.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we got this watcher sit and put them all together from the foam domes and the eyes and the noses and stuff. So that kind of, solidified us watching the Muppets every week and watching them construct them. Yeah.
That had to be fun. I've heard of that. It's like the puppet ministry.
Any displays on Sunday?
Yeah, actually, she would bring them to church, and because that was her time to shine, and that's when she would give the puppets that she had made to the folks that she made them of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
hey kids. Yeah. Hey kids, let's talk about the Song of Solomon. It'll be great.
Let's talk about Satan.
But there are. I do actually
Hey,
knew
I'd
of
go
a
to that
church
church.
that had that. Yeah, there is a. I bet you would.
All the ways to avoiding.
But the
Avoid
thing-
them. What the hell?
A little puppet Satan come up with a pitchfork. It'll be great. It could work.
Okay.
See, Mitch has a puppet of his dog right now, right there.
I think Mitch is a puppet of his
You
dog.
don't want to know how far his hand is or where his hands are.
Oh, he just wants some nubbins.
He just wants loving.
He always jumps in my lap right before the show starts.
Are you on camera? Because if you're on camera, I want to be on your lap.
Oh.
What you doing, Dad?
Hey, Davey. Hey, man.
What's his name?
How's it going?
Oh, thank you.
I think the Muppets are kind of that's far-reaching. Everybody kind of has that effect.
Yeah.
But of course, I remember the black and white. My mother used to have a video cassette tape. I think it was one of those things that used to sell at, like the Dollar Tree or whatever the case. And it wasn't a Dollar Tree back then. It was something else. But of Ollie. What you said the name earlier, Randy?
Yeah, Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. You want to watch that opening?
Go ahead. Put it on.
I can swing that up here. Give me just a second. Let me make sure I'm sharing the audio here. Right there. This is actually in color too. Ready?
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm used to black and white.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bill. What's happened? What?
Live from a studio audience.
One thing. No, I didn't order it. Was it just delivered? Why? Maybe Fran, dear.
Yeah.
Did you order any bunting?
No.
Hi, how are you, Cecil Bill? This bunting came, Cecil Bill said, and
It's not for me.
the strangest
Oh,
thing,
okay.
That's Fran.
buddy up here too.
That's Kukla. The bald guy is
A
Kukla.
minute.
What?
Wait.
I don't know who the guy is.
Yeah, I was wondering because it
We'll
wasn't
find out
Ollie
in the
kind of
blog,
a.
Look what I found.
Ollie was a
I was glad to
It's a
find them
hand
because I
puppet,
use them
was-
for fans.
Like a
Get on the
Dragon
dragon
wagon.
wagon.
was it a dragon?
Where
Get on
did
the
you
dragon wagon.
exciting?
Here we
What
are.
are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh my
well,
god.
Ollie,
I'm not used
That's
to that.
Ollie.
Ollie, we
Shall I just come out
come on
flat-footed?
flat-footed.
Come
Are
on, flat-footed, Fran.
Are you planning to run for any kind of office?
No, for me? Be a candidate?
Yes.
No, not in your
Well,
life.
thank goodness.
Thank
Well,
goodness
that's
for
all these
that.
things
Wait
are-
a minute. But I have another plan.
Oh no.
Have we
not-
seen
not
enough?
really.
Like
I
what?
think so. I think
Well,
we better
now
just in
listen, This is
case,
an interesting plan, and this
'Cause I
could mean
haven't-
something.
because I'd have no idea how long we could go.
I'm pretty
Before
sure
we
we're
get
not going to
copyright
get copyright struck for that. I don't know of anybody that wants to take responsibility
For that one, yeah.
for
John
that one.
Celestry's in the chat. Hey guys, hope it's not raining on C and Nita. Yeah, it's raining. I just have to do what we can. And Carl said that's how all service workers talk these days. I can't understand a word they
Yeah.
say at all.
Pretty much. Too true.
Was that the first show that used puppets? Was that the first kids show?
Oh
to use puppets?
no.
Howdy doody.
That- Puppets
Oh, yeah,
go
true.
back
I
to
forget that
Punch
happened,
and
too.
Judy, the traveling shows that would go around
yeah,
during the
well.
Black Plague days, and they'd entertain the kids before television. It was that little screen before TV. They'd have sets of puppets fighting one another and doing, teaching kids basic morality.
Oh, yeah.
Like how
well, I
to
knew
beat
that
your
one.
spouse. That's
How to
Yeah,
beat
right.
every kid
spouse,
needs to
yeah,
know
with
that.
a
Juggle
big
the
plank.
baby.
Beat the baby, don't beat the baby. Anyway, you want to see an earlier one? I got an earlier one here from the 50s. This is from the 50s. Let me share this here. This is an early incarnation of a cartoon probably nobody's ever heard of. Ready? You sharing it?
Okay, yeah.
Here we go.
Meeting in season.
Beanie. Yeah.
It's time for Beanie.
This is the early days of television, when everything was more than live.
Well, Beanie fans, Beanie and Cecil and all the gang are off on another adventure.
We can skip the opening.
Hey, sir, Captain
There's
Cook.
Cecil.
Here, Whitey. Here, Whitey.
They actually tried
What are
to
you
bring
gonna
this
do?
show back as a cartoon.
No, it turned into a cartoon. There's Beanie
did it?
there, the
Beanie
guy with
boy.
the beanie, and
Now,
that's
don't
Captain
do
Captain.
that.
That's the
You
guy with
scared
the
Geeky out
beard.
of the old fool.
There I am, Captain. But golly, sir, where do you think we'll find that old giant gorilla?
Well, I don't know, boy, but from everything that I've heard, he lives right here in the fifth
They're
corner
looking
of
for the
earth.
giant white gorilla.
You mean this is his home?
Right. And if we're going to capture him, boy, we'll be rich. Just think, Beanie Boy, a giant white gorilla, over 200 feet tall. Why, you'll be the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
You get the idea. That's again from the 1950s. That's before there were like syndicated shows. Little local
Yeah.
TV stations would do their best to put on puppet shows. Bob Clampett just come off of running a bunch of the Looney Tunes, the old Looney Tunes. He decided to get into television because it was a brand new format that he could have more creativity with than when he was working at Termite Terrace. So he created like Tweety Bird and a number of other real big staple. Daffy Duck, the woohoo Daffy Duck running around.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he did this puppet show for a few years, and then they animated it and turned it into the Beanie and Cecil show with an incredibly great opening theme song that we would probably get copyright struck just because it's such a big earworm. It's one of those things that you'd never forget once you hear it.
I remember a cartoon, but I want to say that it was a little bit newer.
Oh yeah, it was in
came
color.
back.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. In fact, the shows still hold up today. Some of it's a little dated because they've got bebop hippies in it, that kind of stuff. Hey man, it's all cool, dude. That kind of stuff. Here's a good example here. Let me share this. It's running a horrible ad right now.
But it's crazy. I wonder how well the puppets actually connected with kids at that time.
There we are. The TV show picked up right where the puppet show left off. In fact, they didn't even bother to do anything with Beanie. He still looks like or Cecil, I mean. He's still a hand puppet.
Sailing with Beanie and the crew. We're off to meet the monster, so why don't you come too? He scares people from China to Rangoon. And now here's Beanie and Cecil in a Bob Clampett cartoon.
And we definitely don't want to show more than that. We're probably walking the line as it is, because it was, I think it was beanieandcecil.com was watermarked on that. So
I guess
go there if you want to see more. Yeah.
The animation was so clean.
Incredible.
Yeah. I guess that's why I remember it being newer.
Yeah, the main villain was your typical vaudeville villain guy dressed in black with a mustache called Dishonest John. It is I, Dishonest John. Yeah. But the cartoons really hold up, and they're not necessarily for kids either, because they'll pull out Captain, the guy who was commanding the boat, wherever they were going to someplace new. He'd shut the hatch door to go down to the boat, and there'd be a map there showing where they were going, and it always had double entendres, going like Gina Loa Brigida, no bikini at all, that kind of thing.
And they'd get away with anything.
They'd get away with all sorts of stuff. And then Cecil was constantly breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera going, ain't that a kick in the teeth,
I guess for me, when it coming up, like the Muppets, of course, were monsters and all sorts of different animals and stuff like that, and they were a little more colorful. But the puppets that I could not stand to watch were the Mr. Rogers puppets.
Okay.
Those things used to freak me out. The King Friday, the Daniel Lion, and all of that.
Everybody in the land of make-believe.
Everybody in the land of make-believe. It just didn't register for me.
Now they do a cartoon show called Danny Tiger that my granddaughter's absolutely addicted to. I mean, whenever it comes on, she just glues right to the screen. Just stares at it all day, if we let her.
Well, what's interesting is that time they were trying to do, you had Mr. Rogers never appeared in the land of make-believe, although he was every voice and in those puppets. But they always try to separate that reality and the make-believe. And they also tried to do the same thing on Sesame Street, but that didn't take because nobody wanted to pay attention to the humans.
No.
Right.
I don't think that really messed us up. Do you, Mitch? Did that mess you up as a kid? Not knowing the difference between a puppet and a real person.
No. For me, I always kind of knew they were puppets, because they were puppets. That's all I can really say.
That's all you can really say. Well, people
basically it did bother me.
My daughter has a fear of puppets. She doesn't like puppets, and I've never been wild about marionettes, but and I guess they kind of played into that. You saw at the end of that montage, I kind of threw in a little bit of Puppet Master in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love those movies. They're so campy and stupid and ridiculous.
That's part of their charm, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Rodney.
I was going to say, I don't know if this makes me weird or not, but I always enjoyed watching the awkwardness of the human actors playing against the puppets or Muppets.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You could. I mean, there were clearly those who just went with it and were having fun, and there were those that were just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe my agent's making me do this."
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm talking to a sock.
Yeah, exactly. But you could feel it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'd look at that, and it's kind of like I said at the beginning, it was coined the hand masquerade, because one thing about it is you're taking on this entirely different persona. It's almost like putting on a mask. And if you were really good at it, you could be on stage at the same time, and you were two different personalities at the same time.
There's a puppet of a cat right there with Rodney.
There you go.
Sherman, we're live. There he is. What's up, buddy?
Nobody could tell that's a hand puppet.
Nobody.
I'm double jointed.
Staring at you in anger, though, for some reason.
Look, it's like Ronnie's going to say, "Look, no hands."
He wants me to pet him. Hang on, I gotta rearrange some stuff. He's in his chair, so I got to pull him closer so I can reach him. It's a whole thing.
Carl said, "I never saw the show, but Donna has a puppet or toy and tried to tell me that it was a show. Now I have seen it. Thanks, Randy."
Which one, Kukla, Fran, and Ollie? That's all available over on YouTube. Just go over there and take a look.
Only that one woman puppet from Mr. Rogers would bother me. Was it Lady Elaine?
Lady Elaine.
Is that the one we showed? Was it last week?
Yeah,
or,
week before
or
last.
the week before. Yeah.
Well, the reason I came to end on puppets because we've kind of been going through a theme for the past, the past couple of weeks. We started with children's programming, which has involved a lot of puppets. They threw a lot of puppets at you as a kid, and then I kind of wanted to hit Jim Henson first because of all the stuff that he did, because he kind of came out the box on a lot of things that he did. And he wasn't just puppetry, animatronics and all that other stuff. And then kind of end here because puppets is it is such a wide variety of the different types of puppets you can have. Let's see. Well, I say it's a wide variety. I think it's like 5 different types of puppets. Now I can't find it. But you have your marionettes, which are the ones that always freaked me out. The hand puppets weren't that big of a deal because they usually had no legs. So they weren't going to come at you in the middle of the night. But the marionettes, something was wrong with that.
They break away from them strings and it's over for you.
Yeah. Carl says, no, I've never seen Cecil and Beanie.
Time for Cecil was the puppet show. The Beanie and Cecil show was the cartoon. And like I said, those cartoons really hold up because the quality of the animation on it is Looney Tune level.
Yeah,
and they're just amazing. Some of them are dated because, like I said, you got the bebop hippie guy running through the jungle, that kind of thing, and cool jazz. Cecil sings a big song on the show called Rag Mop. That's kind of a combination of rag and jazz, R-A-R-A-G-R-A-G-G, that kind of thing. But they're very entertaining still, and the quality of the animation alone is worth watching. So, but the puppet show is completely different because that was done very shoestring, very much for a local Los Angeles TV show that they tried to pipe out. And it was just, they were just so much more open to taking animation. And Bob had an animation house at the time. So they did the Beanie and Cecil show. Bob Clampett got really, really close at one point to doing a full-length animated version of John Carter of Mars. Had the rights to it. Got really close. It got through pencil's test stages, I believe, and it didn't go much farther because Beanie and Cecil was actual money that he could produce, and then they syndicated that throughout the country.
I came across Bob Clampett's name. One of these shows not too long ago, and I can't remember what it was.
It's a master animator. If you ever saw any of the early crazy Looney Tune ones, like the ones where Daffy Duck is bouncing all over the place, that's Bob Clampett.
Didn't he precede Robert McKimson?
What?
Didn't he precede Robert McKimson? And
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah.
Yeah, McKimson was there, and then
John Celestri would know a lot more about that than I would.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I remember he was he was running the show when the Daffy Duck was out, when Porky Pig was really hot.
Yeah.
When Tweety Bird was first introduced, pops up and goes, "I'm only 3.5 years old."
Yeah.
That just the really old, just such classic comedy stuff that was just zany material.
They were round
before they
were round
before they merged with Merry Melodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that era.
They were Looney Tunes.
Donna says, the puppet I have came from a Beanie and Cecil game.
There you go.
The game is history, but I never got rid of Cecil, even though he no longer talks.
To pull his string and have him speak, that's crazy. That's cool.
But I can't say right now, thinking about it, when we were kids, or when I was a kid, I can't speak for everybody here, but when I was a kid, everything had puppets. They threw puppets at you on public access shows. They threw puppets at you in Sesame Street. Everything was puppets. But I don't know. I can't think of anything now that's really puppet oriented.
Grogu.
Oh, this is true.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
Grogu definitely.
You know, they had talked about making him CGI.
Yeah,
Yep.
it wasn't it just wasn't going to be the same.
I can't remember who made the suggestion. Told them if you do that, it won't catch.
Yeah,
Make it a puppet, and because if it was CGI, I don't think we'd have the fascination with it that we do.
no,
It was the guy, the Skarsgård father.
William.
Yeah, it was him. He was because they were in production of that, and they were toiling with whether or not to do it. And somebody they were doing tests or something against it, acting against it, and they were failing miserably. And he yelled at them, and he said, "Do the puppet." He says, "You're an actor. Act. It's a puppet." You know, just
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, and it worked. So, yeah.
Let's see if I can share this real quick.
Back in my day, Gary Anderson was running really big, doing Fireball XL5, Stingray, Thunderbirds, and especially Captain Scarlet, which is just crazy.
Well, there's a realism
Frank
to it.
Oz right there.
Frank Oz. Yeah. Now you see, he's carrying around Yoda. This, of course, Yoda is huge for it. This right here opened the way for a whole bunch of stuff. This opened the way up for the Dark Crystal. This opened up the way for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1989, the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie they've had. That's undebatable.
Undebatable.
I agree.
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock, right?
Fraggle Rock.
Yep.
If it
Howard the
wasn't,
Duck.
yeah. Oh golly,
The what?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck was a guy in a suit.
It was, but not in his expressions though.
Yeah,
because
that's
even the expressions, that's what they were experimenting with.
Yeah,
Yoda.
because I had never considered Alf to be a puppet until you ran him here in the group of the other puppets here. You should have nabbed though it was stop motion. You should have nabbed the warrior from the Trilogy of Terror character that went around and terrorized Karen Black. The Zuni,
the fetish doll.
I still never watched it.
So that was animated just like the puppet.
It's on
Masters.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
On Amazon. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
And it's still
I have to find time to watch.
Even though it's stop motion animation, it's still that
Creepy
some
as
of that stuff when you had to take hours in order to film it still hold up. Those early Harryhausen movies. You ever see Sinbad or Jason and the Argonauts, the first Clash of the Titans? Yep. Purely entertaining. So well done, so practical in their effects. I mean, they had little toys, models that they move in a click and then take a frame or two, move a click, take a frame or two, move a click, take a frame or two. That would take all day just to do like a minute or a minute or two's worth of animation. Just beautiful.
Harry Hamlin fighting the skeletons.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Carl, it was CGI. I think the guy had
Gru, I believe, was CGI as well, especially once he ended up in the pot. If you see the I Am Groot shorts that are on Disney Plus, I believe those are all CGI. But it's beautifully done. Just a lot of fun.
Well, a lot of that owes itself to that discovery with puppets and going outside of the box and everything.
Absolutely. Well, they had to do something to fill airtime back in those days, and they couldn't sit there and animate all the time because they didn't have that big of a budget. So they aimed a camera at a half a stage and had puppets pop out and talk. You know, especially all of these local all these local television stations had cartoon hosts because the cartoons were so easy to get a hold of and it'd keep the kids entertained early mornings. So they had a cartoon host, a guy who would introduce them, and they'd have a puppet, whether a set of puppets like Howdy Doody or whoever, that would pop up and introduce the cartoons for kids. You know, locally here we had a cowboy called Hoss, and it was Hoss and stuff, and he had a puppet horse.
Hey, Hoss, what's going on?
You know, that kind of thing.
So, what was the appeal of Howdy Doody?
It was a kid show like Bozo.
Well, that's true.
Had a peanut gallery.
But I mean,
Cowboy Bob.
But there was nothing. Yeah,
you got to consider how small of a world it was back then, because we just watched Saturday night. We watched the original Westworld movie on
That's good.
HBO Max or wherever it was, and it was terrible. And
Oh, come on. Yul Brynner is classic in that.
Well, that was the best part of the movie.
He's the high point of that film. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so painful.
Oh yeah.
And but it was revolutionary in its time. But I've got some older gentlemen that I work with that the one guy's a big movie buff, and he's 78 years old, so he went to the movies in the 50s and 60s, and he talks about the huge impact that all these movies made on him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a smaller world then. Like when I was a kid, we had 3 channels and a local channel. That was it. There was no cable.
Yeah.
Right.
So our Star Wars blew our minds in '77. That changed the game.
It absolutely did, because the effects were so cutting edge. Nobody thought of doing that kind of a production. That's why it took. It was such a huge gamble for Lucas to do it in the first place, because all of the syndicated. The distributors all looked at him like he was nuts. He had to invest his own money and sign away some of his directing fee and all of this in order to do the thing in the first place.
Yeah, we went from playing, Army and watching the Muppets and reading Marvel comics to, holy shit, there's this whole new world that's just opened up to us. Now we're out there playing Star Wars, and it's just really, you've taken your first step into a larger world. And the kids nowadays, there's nothing they can't see that's on, in the palm of their hands. So they're kind of dead into it all. So Howdy Doody back then
did exactly. Yeah.
To a 10-year-old kid was magic.
Yep.
Like baby is now to a 10-year-old kid.
It's like sitting and watching 3 or 4 Jeff Dunham specials.
Yep.
First couple times, kind of funny. Third time, fourth time, and then they eventually get into hardcore cringe territory.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Howdy Doody
he's got stereotype puppets that he's running with.
Howdy Doody was like the first superstar ventriloquist act.
No, not really, because Charlie McCarthy was really the first one on radio. They had a ventriloquist on the radio.
You just have to take their word for it.
I'm serious. They did. He'd come in with the puppet and talk to the people and everything. He was a big star by the time that hit, because he would do vaudeville and he did movies, and he had a couple of characters he'd go around
so he'd
with.
Bring the puppet.
Edgar Bergen, who was Candace Bergen's dad, it made Charlie McCarthy.
Huh.
Yes.
And he made a huge fortune off of switching voices on the radio.
Golly,
because he would have 2 or 3 characters talking with him at one time, and he would flop those voices all over the place.
He was the first guy that was I showed on that montage. Was him with Dean Martin, but I'll put him up here.
But a big icon. Yeah, he started. That's your stereotype ventriloquist dummy right there.
I'm still trying to understand why he had to bring the doll or the dummy into the radio.
He had to be in character.
Besides
it was a variety show that had other big time actors there with him, and if he didn't bring that dummy, it wasn't the same, because Charlie was such a recognized icon at the time. Charlie was so mesmerizing, nobody noticed Bergen's lips moving.
Yeah,
he was just that funny. He was just that entertaining. He wasn't that good of a ventriloquist. But he was great at changing his voice and coming up with different characters and doing old vaudeville comedy routines with himself.
Well, I think when you get to really good puppetry, it's almost like magic.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's a form of what's it called? Look here, but not distraction, but
hang on.
What's it called? Come on, Mitch. I can't remember words. This is
sleight of hand.
Sleight of
yeah.
Literally a sleight of hand. Hey.
Yeah. But really, but you're talking about Candace Bergen. I forgot that she was his daughter.
Edgar Bergen, yeah.
Yeah, and I think she had such a cold demeanor about her,
and I
think,
can't tell you how popular that Bergen was on the radio. Just incredibly big, just right up there with Jack Benny and Fred Allen. He was a huge star.
I think if you go and find it, and I'm trying to remember if I'm remembering this correctly. Again, this is just an entertainment show. We are not a news show, so don't take anything you hear here. But like he really cared about that puppet, even to the point that she might have felt a little neglected.
That's possible. I couldn't speak for that. I haven't read anything about her.
To
tell you the truth,
I don't think she talks about it too much.
Probably not.
Mostly because of trauma.
Yeah, could be.
But that could be a reason why he brought it in, like the way that he did bring it with him everywhere. Because to him it was a different character.
She's got a stoic demeanor about her anyway. I mean, every character that she's portrayed has had that straight. And again, Bergen was the straight man in the midst of all these goofy comedian puppets. So she might have been raised like that. Very stoic, very straightforward.
Wait, every time, of course, I only know her as Murphy Brown. I think I've seen her in one other thing. But other than that, I can't remember anything else I've seen her in. So, yeah, she definitely has that stoic feel about her.
She's done a number of movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. But she's
she was
Murphy
on
Brown.
Sprint commercials back in the day. I remember those.
I do. Now she said that.
Yeah,
I do remember
now
that.
that you mention it.
I guess she decided not to go into the family business, just maybe just entertainment. She didn't want to.
By that point, ventriloquism was probably on the outs.
Well, Dunham brought it back a little while.
Dunham's a novelty act, though.
Well, that's true.
No.
In fact, look, that one puppet that Bergen had, I'll even tell you that was Dunham ripped that off.
The redneck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dunham had the redneck. I forgot what
Bubba or something.
Yeah, it's the same head.
Like that. Yeah, it was the same thing.
She's got 66 credits to her name on IMDb. The Connors she was on for a while.
Must have been after I stopped watching.
Murphy Brown, she was on there forever from 88 to 2018.
Thank you, Carl. This is what I was talking about. Misdirection.
Misdirection. Boston Legal, she was on for a couple of seasons, I think, or at least one season back in 2008.
I do that. But she was Murphy Brown on Boston Legal. So
no,
I'm just kidding.
She was the same type of character. Yeah, she.
Yeah.
Multiple appearances on Sex and the City. She's been on Family Guy at least 2 times, as herself or Gloria Ironbox.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode. Yeah,
Hollywood Wives. She was on Gandhi. She was in.
Yes,
I do remember that. That was that Gandhi with what's his name?
I'm looking for other things that she might.
Kingsley. Yeah. Why was Iron Man 3 the only thing that was coming to mind? That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Think of Ben Kingsley.
Because that's his most popular role. That's the one everybody's going to remember him for. Yeah.
Oh, please.
Gandhi. He won an Oscar for Gandhi. Come on.
Nobody's going to remember
him as
Gandhi.
Trevor.
Yeah. Ultimate Schindler's List.
Right. I think. Look. I think that plays up to him. Because for Ben Kingsley, he can play any type of character. He really goes into the roles.
Yep.
So it's really hard to remember everything he's in. Because I think, honestly, the first time I recognized him and really remembered him was probably Species.
Yeah.
And the only other thing he was like that was Sneakers.
Sometimes these actors just have to pay the bills.
That's it.
Oh, well. I was excited when he got cast as Mandarin. Then they literally threw him away in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
Like, oh, yeah, he's an actor poser. I'm like, what the?
Well, they couldn't have him play a real Mandarin anyway because he's not of that descent. So.
But he played an Indian guy. He played Gandhi.
Yeah. Well, that's why he won the Academy Award.
Different world.
Yeah. There was I always lean back. You want to see a great role? Lean back on John Wayne and the Conqueror, where he played Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
That was a stretch in the acting imagination right there. But anyway, that should have been done with puppets. I'll tell you that.
Oh my gosh!
So they
Come
did
on,
with,
everybody, let's storm those guys. Get your swords and let's go. Yeah.
But before we cross over from younger adult entertainment to more adult entertainment as far as puppets are concerned, Randy, what about the Super Marionettes?
Super Marionation from Gary Anderson. Yeah.
Yes.
He started out doing cartoon shows for kids, a Western with cartoony looking characters. And then he got a little more serious with Fireball XL5. That was a science fiction show. Then they did Stingray, and I got the opening for Stingray because I think we'd be safe in being able to run a little.
I mean, regardless of whether you have seen this or not, you've seen it mimicked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's iconic. Yeah, it's iconic whether you know exactly where it came from or not.
Here we go. And again, this is off of Gary Anderson's YouTube page, so I want to give him credit just in case they want to come back and strike us. Ready?
Yep. Stand by for action.
Lots of explosions because kids love seeing things blown up.
Oh yeah. Well, puppets and explosions are kind of hand in hand. So.
We are about to launch Stingray.
Troy Tempest.
I mean, a million things come to mind watching this. I mean, just right off the bat.
Look at that great model work, though. Just classic stuff.
Now, you know, that probably took some work navigating that in the water.
I am on a battle station. Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Hey, kids, we're going to blow shit up. Filmed in Super Marionation.
So was Super Marionation was it a different way of doing marionettes, or was it just?
It was Gary Anderson's
detailed
way of trying to copyright something while he did marionettes. Yeah.
Why
He just called it Super Marionation, and it was his own particular brand of doing things. They had people's the puppets' mouths would open because there was a little electrode on the bottom lip that would pop up and down that would try to go with the speech pattern of the recorded of the recording of the actors that they had earlier, and they would go through and just bounce them around and do that that great, just classic style of puppetry.
Oh, yeah. Carl says, "I love how the sub seemed to have a wobble when it first took off from the base.
Absolutely,
kind of like a rope sub mic. Oh yeah, yeah.
Just like the old serial Flash Gordon ship when they would move it, they would you'd see that wobble and the trail of smoke going up, even though he was traveling through space. Just classic work. But yeah,
the sounds in space.
What Stingray, every show for him was a step up. So he went from this, I want to say Bronco Billy, but I might not have that right. Goofy Western cartoon to a space opera that was a little less cartoony, to Stingray that was an underground super sub that was a lot less cartoony, to Thunderbirds that was just absolute classic, even though I think there's only like 26 episodes and 2 movies of Thunderbirds out there. They're all just
one
amazing.
really bad one.
And they keep trying to remake it.
Oh no, not that. We don't mention that Jonathan Frakes embarrassment. That was live action. That was just terrible.
Yeah.
That cost Jonathan
wasn't
Frakes
that,
so much of his career. It's
Was
not
that
even
Jonathan
funny.
Frakes when he directed that?
He directed that. Yes, he
Oh,
did.
my gosh,
Yes,
poor
he
guy.
did.
It was early 2000s.
Nickelodeon
it
backed
was,
that piece of trash.
Wasn't it Bill? Not Pullman, the other Bill. that
Paxton?
Paxton.
Yeah, Bill
Oh,
Paxton
my
was in that.
gosh.
Yeah. Don't go looking it up, kids. It's not worth your
no,
time.
no,
It's
no,
really bad. But those original puppet shows, most all of the Gary Anderson stuff's available over on Hulu if you go over and look for it. Stingray, Fireball XL5. It's all worth it. It's all brain check material with puppets, but some of the stories are really cool. A lot of the Thunderbird stuff is really awesome. After the Thunderbirds, though, his best science fiction show was Captain Scarlet, which had to deal with an alien invasion, and all of the characters were named after color. So, of course, Captain Black was the bad guy. Captain Scarlet was the guy who got infected by this mysterious alien race called the Mysterians, would come down and infect people. But Captain Scarlet, well, since the 60s too, don't forget.
Right. No, that's
the
60s,
white
right.
hat, the cowboy wearing the white hat was the good guy. I didn't mean that as any
No.
I didn't at all mean that as any kind of racial slur. But the
no.
Captain Black was the one that turned evil, and
Right.
but they worked for their secret organization was called Spectrum. And every character there was Colonel White and Captain Scarlet and Captain Black, and they had
different colors on the spectrum.
They had
right.
3 cute girl puppets that all flew jets together called the Angels that flew around, and they fought off the alien menace that was the Mysterians.
So 3 women that are called the Angels in this show.
Yeah. Yep.
3 women that are okay.
Mm-hmm. Long before, about that time, Kate Jackson was on Dark Shadows. So that's about how long ago it was. Then after Captain Scarlet, they took everything that they had learned and started dealing with humans instead of doing puppets. They ended up doing another science fiction show called UFO, and then did the all-out classic show, Space 1999.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Oh yeah. That all of that puppetry, all of the model work, all of the practical effects on that show, all heralds back to these early puppet shows, Stingray and Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet that he did way back when. You saw how great that tower was on Stingray that blew up. You also saw how great that fish was jumping out of water. That was hilarious.
And then getting blown up.
That Stingray jumping out like a dolphin back into the water. That's cool. Just brain check material, but really good stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's also the stuff that what the South Park kids grew up on.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why they tried chasing after the rights to Thunderbirds, because they wanted to do Thunderbirds really badly. And Anderson saw South Park. There was no way he was going to let them do Thunderbirds. Just none. No, not at all.
And they said, "F it, they're going to do their own comedy."
They were going to do it straightforward and do it at that level. Only, there had been 20 years of advancements that they could have improved on the Marionation on. Instead, they sat down and decided, well, we can't get Thunderbirds. We're going to do our own. We're going to make it adult, and we're just going to blow the doors off with it.
What was crazy? I was thinking, trying to find stuff, for the montage, and I'm sitting here like, why do I keep thinking South Park? Why do I keep thinking South Park? And I was getting out the shower earlier. I was like, oh damn, Team America. I actually saw that one in the movie theaters.
They did.
Why?
They did 3 films before they did the Broadway play, The Book of Mormon. And that was Orgasmo, which was a superhero character with a gun that could make people have orgasms. Basketball, which has its own charm, but it's also just really badly and very goofy. And Team America, which is about as close to South Park with marionettes as you're ever going to see.
I love that.
They also did Cannibal the Musical, Cannibal the Musical.
Well, they probably tried to get their feet wet in a couple different directions.
Well, Trey Parker was. I know Orgasmo. I think was Matt Stone was in it, kinda. Mm-hmm. He was like, but I think that was just Trey Parker, and I think the same thing with Cannibal.
Both of them were in basketball, though.
Oh yeah. That was definitely both of them. But I think that always reminds me of that Team America.
I thought Matt Stone was in Cannibal the Musical.
He might have been. I haven't seen that one. I do remember.
Did you want to see a scene from Team America? I've got that up too.
Oh my gosh! Is it I wonder if it's about the scene with the signal.
No, it's they're being at the opening of the clip. They're being pursued by terrorists.
That's the whole movie.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It's not the one where if you see something, signal.
not that I remember, but here we go.
Oh my gosh! And he's in the back of the car. He's just going.
We got it.
Like,
are we sharing? This is from movieclips.com. Please don't ban us. Please don't strike us here. Ready?
Here he's got the towel on his head.
Okay.
All right.
Well, please get down on the ground.
But you can say
terrorist.
they cared about what they were doing. Regardless, I mean, they put care into it.
Just classic stuff.
All right, let's make this interesting.
Kia!
God, I love this movie.
Yeah, we better stop it there.
I just want to point out, though, here in the background, those are chess pieces.
The pawns,
Oh,
yeah.
Those are pawns. Isn't that great? All sorts of just fantastic, hilarious little touches there on that.
I'm Matt Damon.
Terrorize this.
Well, didn't they end up fighting, like, towards the end, like, they were fighting Kim Jong-un, right? Or Kim Jong-il, right?
Bill.
And
I don't know if they
end
named him or not, but it was probably somebody that looked a lot like
I
him.
thi- well, I think
they
they-
named him. They
Oh,
named
They
him.
were naming names.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause then they go against Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like they were like double agents or something? It's like,
Yeah,
oh my
Alec
god.
Baldwin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
How did he
yeah, I
get
can't
away with
remember.
that?
Doesn't Alec Baldwin actually shoot somebody in that movie? I can't.
Oh my
remember.
Oh,
god.
he might. I don't know.
We're getting
It's been a long
controversial
time
here.
since I sat through that film. If anybody knows where I can find that on a streaming service, please put it in the chat because I
I
want
saw
to
it on
watch it. again.
Netflix a few months ago.
Did you? I'll have to look.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, who knows now? But and that's the thing. You get into you cross over to that adult arena. Like I said, like I was telling I think before the show, I was watching Meet the Feebles.
Mhm.
I'm kind of scarred now. I don't even.
It's one of those
Yeah,
movies.
sure.
After you watch it, you know you'll never be the same.
Well, I mean, it seems okay, and of course, this is Peter Jackson,
Early
And-
Peter Jackson.
early
Very
Peter
early
Jackson,
Peter
right
Jackson,
before his magnum opus, The Frighteners, and you know he's just. Oh yeah, he did that other movie with the Hobbits. That's right. But anyway,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, what is the purpose of this? Somebody said because somebody wanted to see the Muppets on drugs and have sex. I'm like, golly. And if you think about it, with the Muppets was a huge thing in Britain. You know, of course, that's where it was produced. That's where it started. So I guess it would make sense that Peter Jackson would kind of want to do some kind of spoof along those lines.
Well, he had just done Dead Alive, I think, before that.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen Dead Alive, that's definitely a classic in horror gore movies.
Bad
Really need to
Taste.
sit and
Too.
watch that. Bad
Bad
Taste.
Taste
also,
is
yeah.
a classic in like no budget.
I've never seen another zombie movie since where they grabbed a push mower and turned it on and turned it sideways and started running through zombies. That was classic.
That has the best line ever said by a preacher on film.
Okay.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Well, you know, and I guess since he did he made his status, I think he made like maybe like 2 more movies. He doesn't really hit like he used to. Peter Jackson.
Oh, he climbed up from there. He's been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. After he did The Hobbit, he really didn't have to work. But he did The Bones, Beautiful Bones. What was
Lovely
that?
Bones.
Lovely Bones.
Yeah, like right after Lord of the Rings.
Don't forget, he tried to reboot King Kong. Nobody remembers that movie at all.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a very classic. I mean, an excellent film. Nobody wants to talk about. So that was a good movie.
Yeah, because it has Jack Black in it.
That could be. It had what's his face? Sudeikis, right? Sudeikis.
Circus.
Circus.
Andy
Yeah.
Circus.
Andy Circus.
He
He
played
had a good
Kong
role
in
in
that
that.
movie.
Yeah.
He played King Kong, and he was also the cook. And when you watch him play the cook, you're like, yeah, this guy could actually be Wolverine.
Yeah.
That's and then they took him and they made him something completely
I think
useless.
he got
They
eaten
made
by
him,
giant spiders, didn't he? Or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
yeah,
for
yeah,
a
in
long
King
time.
Kong.
Yeah.
He's
He
still
was like
alive
a
today. He
boss.
didn't have no giant spiders have eaten him now.
Oh no, not in real life. He's still around. He was just Claw in the Black Panther movie.
So should we look at puppets? Okay, so we've seen puppets that talk about Team America, talk about Meet the Feeble. Should puppets remain for kids, or we should just look at it as a medium?
I think that's like saying comics are for kids.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of similarities.
It needs to be broken out and made fun of. There needs to be so much more supermarionation stuff out there. That
I agree.
Especially on TV, that's serious or semi-serious. Maybe not quite so adult. Maybe not quite as zany as Team America. But I mean, they had actual sex scenes running in Team America.
Yeah,
Full on.
As best as they could, right?
Because they could, yeah.
just
like that incredibly well choreographed fight scene that you saw. It's pretty much the same thing.
But if you think about it, right now, the way that Hollywood's going, let's say Hollywood's going bankrupt, and I know I'm generalizing.
Well, with the way Netflix is going cheap right now, they should be getting a hold of the people that are left from that Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet legacy and going, you know what we need? More supermarionation. Just like Christopher Walken and Cowbell. That's how they ought to. My life's not complete without more supermarionation.
Well, it would be kind of interesting if you took that, because what you normally see the sci-fi element in the marionation, but you took it. Can you imagine if you took that and you made it a horror movie based on that? You know, they just had that. Of course, Batsky did it for years with the animation. But what was that? Didn't they just have another rotoscope? Spine of the World, not Spine of the World. What was the name of it?
Oh, Spine of the Night.
Spine of the Night. Yeah.
Yeah, the one on Shudder. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
It was a rotoscope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had actors and traced over them.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the 11th episode of Sandman on Netflix, Night of 1,000 Cats is totally animated. And that was done really well. But what are they going to do? You can't herd cats. You know, that would have just blown the budget right out of the water. So instead of trying or attempting to do live action cats, they did it animated. It's really good, though.
What do you think, Roddy? Would you be up for a Roadkill Rampage marionette movie?
Done in supermarionation.
If there's a check in it, yeah.
I could see a great movie out there, Grindhouse Marionettes.
Oh, I would have fun.
Even like bloody Grindhouse Marionettes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Parker and Stone it big time. I would just have a blast with it.
I actually think, from reading Roadkill Rampage, I could see that being a good stepping stone to bring that marionation to a different level.
Might actually be a challenge for Tarantino. He's always looking for a challenge for every movie he does.
All right, well, somebody get him a copy of the books. And
Quentin, yeah, there you go.
So you know what? Marionettes. That's all I'm going to say. But I mean,
no, not just marionettes. Super marionation. Wouldn't take much to license it as long as the Anderson estate liked the material and just run with it. Yeah, filmed in super marionation. But I mean, an old style trailer like that. And kids, it's filmed in super marionation.
I think right now, I think that we are on the cusp of something big. Why not? Why not?
It's definitely become a lost art. And in today's era, the new era of tight budgets, especially for streaming services, when Zaslav is looking at all of these HBO series and going too expensive, puppets. I could make money on puppets.
All right, and then you repurpose them. I mean, it's just, it doesn't, you don't have to keep the same puppet the same way. You just change a couple of features and
do a This Old House and Marionettes.
Absolutely.
Repair show on the House and Garden Network. Yeah.
Sam Raimi might do it. Absolutely. He dated Lisa Henson for a long time, so he's kind of got it in there, after some of the work on Army of Darkness, just saying. Yeah.
Army of Farkness? What?
Army of Darkness. Oh, well, at least I got his name
That's
right.
that,
Sam Raven.
Ash, though. Ash is that same kind of humor that would take well for puppets or marionettes.
Absolutely.
You know?
I honestly think it's time to be reawakened.
A marionette of Bruce with a big chin. That would be hilarious. Just bouncing around.
That's how you continue the Evil Dead legacy, right there.
Yeah.
He said he's not going to do
Chainsaw
any more
hands.
Ash anymore, right? So I'm sure we could get him to do voiceover work, right?
Just strip the soundtrack off of one of the Army of Darkness with the TV show that they did, Evil Dead TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
And
too.
just marionette it up. Yeah.
The whole world has changed.
A little
Now it's a
splashing
marionette.
ketchup all over the place. It'd be great.
I'll tell you what, we'll pick this up after the break. Let me play a couple bumps. We'll be right back.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the projectile reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo Kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
All right, and just reminding you that if you need to ship out comics or Kickstarters or whatever, and you want them to get there right, you can check out Gemini Mailer. And when you make your Gemini Mailer order, be sure to use the Ragin 2 coupon code to save yourself 5% over there. And also, if you have any questions or a comment for us for any of our shows, or have an idea for a topic you want us to talk about, email us at raginabc@gmail.com. There's no such thing as a dumb question, but our answers might be. So,
more likely will be.
Yeah, right. So I think the Necronomicon was a puppet of sorts. Yeah, the kind of. And it said Donna says now. Okay, now I'm thinking of Bruce Campbell's puppet, and that's how it starts right here.
Yes, it
you
is.
You start thinking about it.
Yep.
We could bring back old actors, guys. People that haven't acted for years.
Could rebirth the entire MCU using marionettes. It'd be great.
You'll be
I
better
know
than
what
putting
you
out
want,
now.
Donna. But yeah, absolutely. I think
Would have definitely spiced up the Eternals. That's for sure.
Oh, wow. But I think it's time. Well, I mean, obviously, CGI is not getting better right now. We're not at a point, and the only reason why CGI is not getting better is they're not throwing any money at it. There's no money to throw at it.
No serious money. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, they could if they wanted to.
Well, yeah, but they'd have to stop making a whole bunch of stuff. You know, they'd have to scale back on what they want to make instead of trying to make. Well. You think, but I think if Disney actually, let's Warner Brothers. Hey, Warner Brothers, How about this? The Matrix as puppets.
They wouldn't. They couldn't lose any more money than what they've already lost on Lightyear. That's for sure.
Well, you
Should have been puppets.
Yeah. Well, you look at when they had that Dark Crystal revival that was on Netflix, and of course I started watching it because I had serious doubts about it, but I was captivated by it. I mean, it was
loved
gorgeous.
that show. Yeah.
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It's fantastic. It was humorous. I think there is a place for this type of stuff, but the problem is here we look at puppetry the same way that we look at comic books.
Yeah.
They're kid stuff.
Yep.
I mean, even animation right now, yeah, you have your adult animation, but have you seen the adult animation? Some of it's just not.
There's not any serious adult animation out there. I mean, as close as we get, if we're lucky, we get the Batman animated series and Young Justice. Some of the
and I'm talking
DCU
about
stuff,
American now. I'm not talking about anime or anything like that.
Right. By anime is a whole different story. Yeah, Bakshi hasn't kicked out a movie in years. So.
Oh no, he was going to do.
That's the last thing he did.
No, the last thing he did was Cool World, and that was such a flop. He kind of quit.
Who did that after Fire and Ice?
Yeah, Fire and Ice was sometime I think early '80s.
Yeah, it had Brad Pitt in it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool World did. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to do something called Last Days of Coney Island, but he never could get the funding for it, so he kind of just gave up on it.
Cool World. Okay, Cool World had Brad Pitt, had Gabriel Byrne in it.
Yep. Kim Basinger.
And of course, Kim Basinger, right. And it was basically your adult answer to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is crazy because Who Framed Roger Rabbit was pretty freaking adult in itself.
Yeah.
Some of the Lego movies are more adult, at least with the jokes. Yeah. Go ahead, Rodney. What were you saying?
No, Roger Rabbit was the Looney Tunes humor, which was, the two different levels of humor for the adults, for the kids. I mean, who doesn't remember their parents when they were little kids laying there on the carpet watching TV, and a Looney Tunes cartoon, and we were laying there cracking up, and our parents were standing there, peeking in from the kitchen and watching and laughing too, because they got the adult humor and we got the kid humor. The adult humor went over our heads.
Well, according to IMDb, that was The Last Days of Coney Island was a short that come out in 2015.
Oh, he released it.
Yeah. Trickle Dickle Down was in 2012. 100 Greatest Cartoons, which was a TV special documentary with original material in it, was 2005. Spicy City. Babe, He Calls Me, which was a short. What a Cartoon. Malcolm and Melvin, which was a short. Cool and Crazy TV movie. Rebel Highway was a TV series that had one episode, probably past the pilot. David Bowie, Real Cool World music video in 92. Cool World was 92.
Yeah. I remember
My Life at the Thrill Kill Cult, Sex on Wheels video.
I could see that. I could see that. Oh my gosh! Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head.
Mighty Mouse.
What's interesting is they released Cool World the same time that they re-released Pinocchio in the theaters.
Yeah.
And I remember going to see Pinocchio and sneaking into Cool World.
He directed the animation in Cannonball Run.
Speaking of puppets, right? Yeah. See, we brought it right around.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. We need to talk to Bakshi about getting the puppet thing going. Maybe he'll have some ideas. He'll rotoscope everything.
He'll rotoscope everything.
He's doing an animation school.
Is he? That's right. I forgot about that.
Down Bluth.
Yeah.
I
worry about that
because he did.
Rockadoodle.
Bluth.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the one I remember.
He's been back doing shorts again too, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
The last one I can remember is Iron. No, he didn't do Iron Giant. Titan AE, I think was the last one I can remember him doing.
What's it?
That might be. You might be right.
Let's see.
And that was a good movie. That should not have flopped.
Titan AE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Circus Sam was a short. Trapper World Tour was a video game. Dragon's Lair 3D Return to the Lair was a video game. Soccer Kid video game. Dragon's Lair video game. Real Magic, The Magical World of Disney TV series for one episode. He was an animator. Winnie the Pooh, that was 82. Secret of Nim was 82. Fox and the Hound was 81. Was an animator uncredited on that. Xanadu. He did the animated pieces in that movie. Banjo, the Woodpile Cat, the Small One, Pete's Dragon, The Rescuers, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Escape to Witch Mountain, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, Robin Hood, Journey Back to Oz.
I see a lot of movies.
Layout artist. Go ahead.
I didn't realize he was doing. Titan AE looks like the first big movie here. Although we have a Dragon's Lair movie coming out soon.
He does not have a listing here for Titan AE.
Really, it's supposed to be
Gone
2000.
Blue?
There is nothing here in his filmography for that. He's got 75 credits as in the animation department. What year did Titan AE come out?
2000.
2000.
Yeah, it is not here.
I see it on the. I have this IMDb list.
2002. He's got Dragon's Lair 3D. What 2000 or what IMDb list are you looking at?
It's just Don Bluth's movies. It's like you have The Secret of Nim 82, Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, An American Tale 86.
He's got the picture of it up there, but it's not in the listing. That says he's known for, but he's not in the listing below that.
Land Before Time, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Dragon Lair 2, Time Warp, Rockadoodle, Thumbelina.
He was the layout artist for 16 episodes of the Groovy Ghoulies.
Mm-hmm.
He did the TV series Fantastic Voyage too, for 17 episodes.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody I plan on taking a look at on the show. Because I mean, you're talking about it's like the dark Disney.
Yeah, he's under directed by. He's got 23 credits. Titan AE is listed there.
Okay,
I was looking under his animation.
His animation stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 23 credits as a director. That goes, where is that? Right there. Dragon's Lair, Trapper World Tour, Gift of Hoopy. Gift of the Hoopy. Scissors Sisters, Mary.
Wait, what?
Scissors Sisters, Mary. That's what it says. It's a music video.
It's a music video,
I
yeah.
Ninja is a video game. Anastasia.
Yeah.
That he did. That was 97. Titan AE was 2000. Dragon's
See,
Lair,
that's the
movie.
thing. I don't remember those because they came out
announced.
way after me. Like I remember Titan AE came out when I was working in a video store. So
Land Before Time was 88. Space Ace and Dragon's Lair. John worked on those. That's 83. Secret of Nim was 82.
You talk about something that made a comeback, and that was Land Before Time. And those are straight to video movies, but they were everywhere for a while.
Talk about beating an idea to death.
Oh yeah.
It's like Land Before Time 14 or something like that. Right? They went way up there in their numbers.
Yeah. It is definitely time for a Land Before Time marionette. That's all I'm saying.
Puppet dinosaurs. That could be hot.
It could be. Hey, I'm telling you. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to think outside the box. But,
they should puppeteer up Beanie and Cecil again. That would be kind of cool. But, hey, remember Farscape? Farscape had a Muppet in it.
It did?
That was
a lot of that. It had a couple of them in it because you had the little guy, aristocratic guy, and then you had the ship, the pilot itself.
Yep.
Was also
that was a great show. Great show. I haven't watched that in a long time. I need to sit down and watch that.
I've only watched like 2 or 3 episodes of that. I haven't watched the whole series, but
it's back when Sci-Fi Channel would actually do decent programming. We were there every Friday to watch that show. That was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, puppetry is the reason why we were able to have all that. But Rodney, you were talking about when Star Wars came out and blowing your mind and everything back in 77. I remember a guy talking to me back when I was about 16 years old. He was talking about Star Wars. Well, I noticed to y'all now, Star Wars looks like it's a B movie. But really, even if you go and watch Star Wars now, it does not look like a B movie at all. Battle
Beyond the Stars was a B movie. Galaxina was a C movie or even a Z movie.
Yeah.
But Star Wars especially at the time it came out, was really A grade. It just stunned a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing like it out there, and it just came out and screamed as soon as it was out there. It was amazing.
And it just, I mean, you were kind of left just flabbergasted because it was just like Randy said, there was nothing like it. And I went from reading Marvel comics and drawing Neil Adams poses to drawing X-wing and TIE fighters and trying to figure out how to draw the Millennium Falcon and Chewbacca. And it never stopped.
Right.
So,
I got, of course, the only Star Wars movie I actually saw in the movie theater was Return of the Jedi, and I was young. I was about 3 when that came out, and I actually remember seeing that.
The thing that was for me that I think struck such a chord was Obi-Wan Kenobi's speech to Luke in his little den about the Clone Wars. And he talked about his lightsaber and all that, and it's only a few paragraphs, might even be just a few sentences, but it just opened up an entire world of the past and the mythology and everything. And then in Empire, you get Yoda, and you get talking about the Force. And it although you had 120 minutes of it on the screen, your mind just went nuts with everything. And I think that's why OG Star Wars trilogy fans, they had so much invested that they never got to see for 32 years. And then after that long wait, you get, the shit that we got.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. I mean, the Phantom Menace. I remember going and seeing that and looking over to my best friend and going about 30 minutes in, going, "Is it me or does this suck?"
Well, look, because he went overboard with the CGI. He completely killed what made the charm. The charm is definitely there. That's why Mandalorian is the way it is.
There's such a huge letdown, though, if you go and you look at the series in the order that they came out, because you could see A New Hope was them just going, "Hey, can we get away with this?" Yeah. And Empire wasn't just, "Hey, can we get away with this?" But this will work, and we can do this with it, and we can do that creatively with it, and look at what we can do here and go there and do everything. And then Return of the Jedi was how do we sell more toys?
Yeah, that's that. I like the Jedi, but it was exactly that. It was Lucas's first foray into merchandising.
Yeah,
let's sell the cute little Muppets, the Ewoks, and even I was in the 9th grade when that came out, and I remember just kind of being, sitting at the theater going, "Okay, let's get back to Luke and the Emperor." I'm about done with these cute little furry guys.
I was in my senior year of high school when A New Hope came out. That was just Star Wars back then, but they had a novelization that was out that said a movie coming soon that I should have bought, that I would have loved to have had. It actually quoted the Journal of the Wills inside of it. And never see that book anywhere anymore.
I've got it.
And you don't.
Yeah, good for you.
Yes.
But when it came out, I had to go see it because they said it was a great popcorn movie. I bought a big tub of popcorn, and as soon as that Star Destroyer goes overhead, jaw hits the floor, and all you do is watch that movie, even through the slow parts, all the way through. And when that Death Star blew up, I had a guy behind me, older guy behind me, so I was only 17 at the time, had a guy behind me jump up out of his chair screaming, "Yeah, yeah," and everybody was applauding. And that's I got bucked forward and I looked down and there was a whole tub of popcorn between my legs. I hadn't eaten any of it because the movie was just that spectacular.
Yeah.
It's just crazy at the time.
Yeah.
You ever heard that joke about how you know somebody was born and what time somebody was born is how they feel about the Ewoks? If they like the Ewoks,
that's from How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother, yeah. They were born after
trying to decide how old. He was trying to figure out how old his girlfriend was. He's like, she can't be 30. She can't be 30.
How do you feel about the Ewoks?
And I don't hate the Ewoks, but it was, it was that, I was in 9th grade, so I was 14 or 15 years old, and I was like starting to get a little jaded, and I was like, okay, this is just him trying to sell more toys, and I was conscious of that. That's when I started becoming conscious of that stuff.
Yeah,
and it just really aggravated me because it was a new concept, and it was right there in my world of Star Wars, and
And by that time, Indiana Jones had come out. They had already been playing around with different pulpy type styles and formats. 1941 was already out, and that had been of a movie. And although it had almost the same style of, spectacular pacing and a crazy attempt at being static like Star Wars was. But yeah, when the first one come out and those Kenner toys hit, everybody was crazy about that. I went and worked in a toy store when that stuff was coming out, just to be on top of all of the merchandising that was coming out at the time. When Empire was announced, we didn't have the internet back then. You picked up all of your rumors off of fanzines and magazines, Starlog and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Fantastic Films. I've still got the Fantastic Films that talks about all of the theories about Empire Strikes Back, because it also had an article in there about 2000 AD, which got me hooked on English comics.
Yep.
Just amazing stuff coming out.
Referring back again to the smaller world back then, anything Starlog, fan graphic, whatever, that had a Star Wars picture on the cover, I bought it.
Yep.
And I've still got them in a box to this day.
Literally heralded in all of those great 80s movies that are still, out there and just evergreen today. Ghostbusters and all of that stuff that come out, Ferris Bueller, even all of the John Hughes movies, all of that, because they realized the audience was out there willing to pay to sit in the theater, and it skewed younger than the intellectual movies that they were filming at the time, trying to win Academy Awards for. And that really started, that and Jaws really kicked off the summer blockbuster.
Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned Ghostbusters, and I remember going on a double date to see Ghostbusters, and me and my buddy completely ignoring the girls because we were just so enamored by it. But
it's so cool. Yeah,
that was my junior year of high school, and then after my senior year, after we had graduated, we didn't know what to do with ourselves in the summer. We went and saw Aliens. So you had Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, you had Ghostbusters, you had Ferris Bueller, all the John Hughes stuff, the Predator, Terminator, Aliens, all that stuff within like a 10-year period. And to me, it was just like the golden age of my childhood.
Yeah.
Hey, what's funny about all of that is it's a tribute to special effects, which guess what, we can trace that back to puppetry.
Yeah.
So, but because we did, you say we got off topic, but we really didn't.
And even a lot of the modeling today, a lot of the animated computer modeling is nothing more than manipulating wireframes. You might as well be doing puppets.
Well, that's what I say. Like Slimer was definitely a puppet. I remember the what are they called? The brothers in the second one. Oh,
in the courtroom.
The Scolari brothers.
Yeah,
the Scolari brothers. They oh my gosh, they were some type of puppets. So they weren't makeup. They were actual puppets. So this whole the 80s Renaissance, because let's face it, that's what it was. Wouldn't have, even the Alien chest buster. Come on. Nope.
Very much so. Yeah, that was a puppet.
So
it freaked my ex-wife out, though.
I read a thing last week about Terminator. James Cameron wanted Arnold to play Reese. And Arnold told him no. He said, I don't want to play Reese. I want to play the Terminator. And he's like, no. Reese is the hero. You don't understand. He's the main character. And Arnold said, trust me. So we let him play the Terminator.
Cameron, or Arnold said that, or Cameron did? Because I saw a video where they were going. They were going around with the Terminator using a conjunction, because he says in the police, in the squad room, he goes, "I'll be back," and he said that he argued with Cameron for a long time, because that's not what a robot would have said. A robot would have said, "I will be back."
Right.
And Cameron says, "What's it say in the script?" It says, "I'll be back." Says, "That's how you read it."
Well, but you got to think this at that. I can understand
Arnold
on that, though.
Said at the time when he did that scene, they had no idea it would become such a catchphrase. None.
Yeah. Oh no, because it's such a. If you watch that movie, it's not really anything. It's just, "I'll be back," and then he comes and plows to the police station.
But what? There's some stop motion. There's some stop motion puppetry in that too, isn't there?
Yeah.
When he cuts his eye out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some phenomenal practical. Back then, Rick Baker was a mad effects artist, just doing all of those guys back then who were doing practical effects were just incredible artists.
Speaking of Rick Baker, if you guys are Rick Baker fans, I would suggest going and checking out his episode of when he was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He was on there for about 3 hours talking about all the things he did. It's the best 3 hours. Yeah. And Joe asked tons of great questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely worth the listen.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody from that era had to be a fan.
Well,
horror if you went to movies at all, you wanted to talk to Rick Baker. Yeah.
Horror movies had to lean on puppetry.
Yeah.
They had to lean on puppetry. From Critters, Gremlins, Ghoulies. I mean, just throw it out there.
American Werewolf in London. Yep.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's about all we got tonight. So now that we've traced the inspiration of puppetry all the way from Super Mario Nation and before, all the way to Star Wars and after. So
hand and sock puppets, Punch and Judy, way back when.
I'm telling you, look, hey,
sleight of hand.
It's the future. Sometimes you got to go back to go forward. Just saying.
Yeah.
Netflix.
I'm sure somebody somewhere will end up doing a Super Mario Nation show again. If not, the Anderson estate are talking to people. Thunderbirds is so evergreen that they've been begging him. They've done recorded episodes that they did audio tapes for that they've gone back and done Super Mario Nation effects for, just to have new Thunderbird, old style Thunderbird material, because it's such a classic show.
Oh, yeah. So, Randy, tell them where we can find you, sir.
Oh, you can find me on Facebook if you look hard enough. You can find me under Arrow Comics 4.0 all over the place. And we're going to have some great announcements coming up from Arrow Comics here eventually. You can look for, if you missed out on the campaigns for Fellowship of the Indies or the Long Shots campaign, Arrow Comics is coming back. All of the products are still available. You can always contact me, HeroBot Zero. Only Death Can Save Us. Luke Stone is still working on hybrids. It's all Arrow Comics. So look for Arrow Comics 4.0 up on. We have a link tree, an Instagram, a Twitter, and you're going to see some great announcements coming up soon. There's some great campaigns that we've got in the wings, in the works. A lot of stuff we don't want to start a campaign for until we've got it so in the can that we know we're going to be able to deliver it to you on the time that we promised to deliver it. But there's stuff in production now that it's just amazing. You'll see more Calico, more Paragon, more HeroBot coming along too from Arrow Comics. Just keep watching our pages. So other than that, I'll be on tomorrow night doing the Zimcast here on the Indie Comics Network at 8 p.m. Love that though. I love ICN. We're gonna have to do a news program. That's ICN News. Seriously, we might have to change Indie Rush or something like that over to ICN News because it sounds so much better. But you can look for me on the Indie Comics Network. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., I do the Zimcast where we talk about this industry from an opinionated point of view. And then on Sunday mornings, I have another show called the Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. where we try to talk about comics in this industry that we love so much with a sparkle in our eye and a smile. And we try to be positive about the great stuff that we grew up on, very much like you heard today on this show, where we're talking about all the puppet shows and the 80s shows that we love so much. Same thing, Sunday Funnies, 9 a.m. on Sundays, only it's about, hopefully, most of the time it's about comics. And a lot of times it's old guys like me who remember just this great old stuff that we can't help but tell you about how good it was. So Sunday Funnies, 9 a.m., Zimcast, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, and we'll see you there. And I'm sure C is going to tell you, go over to the ICN, to the Indie Comics Network, and subscribe and hit that like button because it helps all of us out when you do that. So if you're not subscribed yet, go over there and do that and hit that bell for notification.
Hey, if you are not subscribed yet, you're missing out on a lot of great content. That's all I got to say. Mitch, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios. You can find my website, my apparel store, my online comics, everything.
And you have a Kickstarter coming up soon?
Or
soon. Indiegogo?
I don't know exactly when I'll have it ready because I'm still getting all the stuff from the Southern Gothic campaign done and out, but coming soon, I'll have another crowdfunding campaign.
All right, we're going to be looking for that. And Rodney, again, thank you for joining us. You're always welcome to come on Dispatches. Once you come on Dispatches, your family. So go ahead and tell us where we can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Rodney_Fike. You can find me on Facebook at Rodney Fike Arts. You can find me at Hazm.com. That's HAZZUM.com, which is the website of where you can find all of our titles such as Peanut Pudding and Jelly, Pitter Patter, Unchained, and Roadkill Rampage. You can find me on Thursdays and Friday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern, on Thursday Night Throwdown and Friday Night Draw with Sean Forney as we do commissions and artwork or whatnot and talk all things nerdy from 8 to 9:30. And you can find me now on Saturday mornings at Sketchy. I can never remember the name.
Saturdays.
Sketchy Saturdays.
Sketchy Saturdays. Yeah.
Woody and John and the other crazy cast of characters, where we just draw funky stuff and talk about even funkier stuff.
That's right.
10 o'clock on Saturday mornings.
I got to do another episode of that or two because nobody believes I can draw anymore. So. Nobody sees my stuff. I've been working on books and putting stuff together and doing commercial work. And
isn't that the case?
Just cut loose and do some cartooning. Yeah,
that's right. When you want to make a living at drawing comics, the last thing you do is draw. Sometimes
draw comics. Yeah, sometimes that's the way it does work.
Oh yeah.
All right, and I'm C Michael Lanning. Of course, you can find me at my link tree. And of course, like Sketchy Saturday coming up on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And of course, once again, right here on Dispatches next Tuesday, where we'll be discussing the controversial furries. So check that out. And while I leave you with our word for the week, Netflix, pay attention. You can make some serious money pulling out drama using puppets. Just watch.
Goodbye, life. Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Don't let me stop you. I think you'll find the safety cage is on. Oh! Eat leg, you man-stealing slut!